good night to everyone joining the live broadcast tonight. Happy Republic Day to each and every single one of you joining on YouTube, Facebook, and those that are also joining on TikTok. This is another week in review. It is Wednesday, 23rd, 24th. Oh my gosh. The time is flying so fast. The days are going by really quick. Month end is coming up. And soon October starts. Mid-year budget review. I think everyone is excited for the budget. We celebrate Republic today. 49 years of Republic so far for Trinidad and Tobago. And that's right after the 63rd Independence Day celebration in Trinidad and Tobago, which we did not have, but the opposition was up in arms about having Republic Day celebrations. And well, right now, the celebrations are going on down at Queen's Hall, Port of Spain. So for everyone in Queen's Hall, Port of Spain, all the ministers down there today celebrating the Republic Day celebrations. Celebrate it for me because I have the show to do. All right? But has been an interesting week across Trinidad and Tobago. CPL coming back to Trinidad. The TKR, sorry, coming back to Trinidad. Also for Keyshawn Walcott as well. Yesterday at the Diplomatic Center, you can see some visuals here. Yesterday at the Diplomatic Center, Trinidad and Tobago, we saw where Kamala Prasad-Bissessar would have honored the TKR team, and then she would have also honored Keyshawn Walcott. Some medals are going to be given out to the person. Actually, today is the awarding ceremony for the TKR as well as for Keyshawn Walcott. Keyshawn Walcott is to be made a sports ambassador, Chiron, as well as Chiron Pollard, and then Nicholas Puran, right? So they are going to be given diplomatic passports. They're also going to be given the Shakunia, right? The second highest medal in Trinidad and Tobago, which is absolutely amazing. Let's take a listen to Kamala Prasad-Bissessar yesterday. Actually, before we go to Kamala Prasad-Bissessar, come back to me. I ended the last show on CNC3, and I ended the last show with CNC3 saying that the government is giving them nothing, and that one of the reporters on CNC3 actually said that the players aren't looking forward to anything, the athletes aren't looking forward to anything from Kamala Prasad-Bissessar. Well, I want to take you to Dwayne Bravo first, because Dwayne Bravo had an extraordinary speech that he gave to Kamala Prasad-Bissessar in front of the entire world. And what is interesting is that most players don't do things like this. They don't say things like this because of apolitical victimization, or just because you don't want to have favor for one political party over the other, mainly because you must maintain a fan base. But Dwayne Bravo, I give you a props, brother. Dwayne Bravo on the public stage recognized Kamala Prasad-Bissessar and mostly endorsed Kamala Prasad-Bissessar on the world stage at the Diplomatic Center yesterday. Take a listen to this.
Good afternoon, everyone. Honorable Prime Minister, members of the Cabinet, and to my colleagues, my teammates, and also my extended colleagues, Keyshawn and Jerim. This is a golden opportunity for all of us. I'm sure it's a life-changing moment for all of us. Walking in here, I'm sure all of us never experienced being able to have access to a government like this. And this is very special. And growing up, you normally find prime ministers and ministers so long distance. And sometimes we get jealous when we see the togetherness with other prime ministers in various islands. So we are very happy to know that we have leaders who appreciate us, who understand us, and who want to support us. In return, we will continue to put Trinidad and Tobago on the map. We will continue to do our part. And for my teammates, it's important for us to do our part as well and continue to drive this nation and make a better society for the next generation. Let us take this and be more responsible and do whatever it takes to make sure that not only the government look good, but our people is at the forefront. this is just a stepping stone, and we join forces together, as the Prime Minister say. Once what? Say it. One more time. Everybody wins. Everybody. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Now that is a tremendous speech from Dwayne Bravo, and I 100% support it, because for a long time, as you heard Dwayne Bravo said, athletes want to be recognized by their government. They want to come in the same space and be recognized by the Prime Minister. But it doesn't happen. When he sees it happening for other countries, he gets jealous. And this shows that Kamala Persad-Bissessa's administration is an administration for all. And I am proud to even say that I support this government, and I support the endeavors of the government right now in regards to sports and sport tourism, and we'll get to the sports tourism part of it, because Budget 2025-2026 speaks specifically, Trinidad and Tobago, about sports tourism from the government of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. But so therefore, you know what's taking place tonight. In order to know what's taking place tonight, we need to go back to yesterday. So yesterday at the Diplomatic Center, the Prime Minister, Kamala Persad-Bissessa, would have given the athletes several different medals and medals and responsibilities as well. Take a listen.
And so to honor you as a team, we have proposed that you be given the Shakonia Gold Medal of Trinidad and Tobago tomorrow at our Republic Day award ceremony.
On the eve of Republic Day 2025, that became the biggest announcement after Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessa convened her cabinet to deliberate on how best to reward and acknowledge TNT's latest lot of sporting heroes. It included the Trinbago Knight Riders, who on Sunday night hoisted a record-extending 5th CPL title, getting onto tomorrow's merit list, one might say, by a nose.
I don't want to admit it, but I'm not a great cricket fan. But because of you guys, I tried not to miss a game. You have made us so, so proud. We want to thank you very much. And you've done it at a time when we celebrate Republic Day tomorrow. So you've done it for the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago.
Although already an Order of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago medal holder since 2012, TNT's latest athletics world champion was not left out.
We will be giving to Keishan for that gold, in accordance with the Cabinet policy, $500,000. We propose to rename the Northeastern Regional Multipurpose Sport Facility in Sandy Grande the Keishan Walcott Multipurpose Sport Facility. In addition, Keishan, we think you will serve very well as a sport ambassador for Trinidad and Tobago.
Keishan Walcott joins champions of TKR's title campaign, Nicholas Puran, and player of the tournament, Karen Pollard, also reserved for special commendation.
So we also want to name Karen Pollard a sport ambassador for Trinidad and Tobago. For your captain, the not so young but young Nicholas Puran, we will also make you a sport ambassador and grant you a diplomatic passport so that you can go and come and represent Trinidad and Tobago.
Meanwhile, World Championships silver medalist Jareem Richards was also rewarded with $250,000 in accordance with the National Rewards and Incentives Framework, with the Prime Minister promising further discussions on other ways of recognition.
Absolutely amazing. And I want to congratulate the Minister of Sports as well for keeping a tight lip on this, because I think it was worth it to give the players something in that type of forum, and inviting them to the Diplomatic Center per what Dwayne Bravo would have stated. I think this was a classy way to give them, or to give Keishan Walcott $500,000 per cabinet notes, not just cabinet notes, but just the cabinet. And then Jareem would have gotten $250,000, and then Kyron and Nicholas Puran, and then Kyron would have been named sports ambassadors for Trinidad and Tobago, as well as Keyshawn Walcott, sports ambassador to the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Absolutely amazing. Yesterday was a scene. Just play the visuals from yesterday from her. Yesterday was a scene, Trinidad and Tobago. Take off the CNC3. Tell the visuals from yesterday that we were playing, yeah. So this one yesterday was absolutely amazing, Trinidad and Tobago. This was a great sight to see. And then Dwayne Bravo would have really, I think Dwayne Bravo was the highlight of yesterday. His speech was something else. I must give it that. His speech really, I think it should have touched the players. I think it did touch the players, and it also would encourage more persons to really come on board to represent Trinidad and Tobago in a bigger way. All right? But not only that, sports, come back to me, sports for Trinidad and Tobago. And I think that is important. Under the 2010 to 2015 administration, sports was really piloted by the government, by the PP administration, that you saw the cycling velodrome, and when the UNC in power, they really take a keen look at sports and sports tourism. The Prime Minister, Kamala Persad-Bissessar, yesterday via the media, they questioned her outside of the diplomatic center, and they asked her about budget 2025 and the fiscal budget 2025, and Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar actually said that we're going to see a lot coming in regards for sports and sports tourism, and we also will have some, this is what she said, quote, we are very hard at work with that budget, and you will be surprised, is what Kamala Persad-Bissessar said. She said, quote, I think we have a very good budget. We will have a very good budget again. Some new initiatives, or some new innovative things to diversify the economy will be coming. The Prime Minister explained that the government is still fine-tuning plans. She also stated that her government promise of job creations for the new opportunities is on the agenda, along with revenue generations for Trinidad and Tobago. One of the standoff initiatives is a new push for sports tourism, with the Prime Minister saying that the potential to bring international visitors to Trinidad and Tobago, not just for sun, seas, and sand, but also for cricket on the beach. There's a lot happening, a lot that is going to happen to diversify Trinidad and Tobago's economy and to really put us on an international stage. Not only that, but the Prime Minister passed a bill inside of the Parliament called the Constitution Amendment Bill, which the opposition did not support. The opposition did not support the Constitution Amendment Bill, which seeks to expand the pool of talents for Trinidad and Tobago in general, to allow for young persons, persons that want to represent Trinidad and Tobago but are not citizens of this country, to say if you have any type of inherited ties, a grandparent that is from Trinidad and Tobago, but lives outside of Trinidad and Tobago, you can earn citizenship if you apply, and it will go through a stringent measure, basically, in that sense, for in the constitutional amendment bill that was passed in the House, I think last Friday, right? So 2 Fridays ago. Damn, 2 weeks already. Whew. Things happening. But stay tuned, Trinidad and Tobago. When we come back, we're gonna deal with some more. But before we go to that break, I'll tell you all. On October 14th, 2025, it is time for teachers to really stand up and vote. For every teacher that is registered under the Trinidad and Tobago Unified Teachers Association, I want you to pay close attention to what Lum King, the current president, is doing. And I know that a lot of persons are not happy with Lum King, the present tutor president, and they are looking for something different. Well, I have that for you. The new tutor president should be, the new tutor president should be Crystal Bevan Ash, all right? And there's a reason why it should be Crystal Bevan Ash, because Crystal Bevan Ash has the will and has the know-it-all, basically, to really represent the teachers better than what Lum King or how Lum King is doing it. Right now, Lum King doesn't even support the initiative from the government to put police officers in schools. Right? He disagrees with it. The National Parent Teachers Association, they actually disagreed with that motive as well, the motive to put police officers in schools. And then they came out not longer than a week later and say, we decide that we're changing our decision and we want police officers in schools now, or we agree with the stance to put police officers in schools, only because of the amount of violence that is still coming out of schools. But with a new tutor president and one that is a visionary like Crystal Bevinash, I think that you will be represented differently in that regard. All right. So stay tuned, Trinidad and Tobago. We will be back right after this, and this one is a long commercial break. But this again, we support tutor, full representation here. We'll be back.
We need stronger advocacy for our members.
Enough talk. We have to go to court.
Focus on the mental and the physical health. Every day is RIP.
Everyone's voice needs to be heard. Communication is a two-way process.
We need to be financially viable. The members must know that their dues are benefiting them.
Team, we can do this. It's time. We can accomplish all of this.
October 14th, it's time for the Tutor Rebirth. It's time to come together, together we are tutor. It's time to start over, together we are tutor. Come on, you need a team strong and unified, who understand the teacher's plight. Deserve better, we say. Upgrades, insurance, and just pay. Come October 14th, vote and vote. You must vote the Rebirth team. It's time to come together. Together we are tutor. It's time to start over. Together we are tutor. Think about your experience. Does it miss? Are you fed up with
Wait. Have you heard the big surprise is near? Our SNS Passage supermarket is having our anniversary sale. And you want to know the best part of it? It is the same weekend as our Republic Day. So come on down, get double the vibes, double the savings, and double the deals. But don't wait for the weekend to start celebrating. Come on down, our flash sale is going on right now in store. So grab your bargains today. Come on down, anniversary and Republic Day weekend for more savings.
All right, welcome back to Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you so much. Oh God, sorry, I had to play that billboard like 3 times today, boy. I know ladies get fed up by hearing that song, but I want to go to the Prime Minister, boy. You know, budget 2025, 2026 around the corner. I've listened to a lot of persons talk about CPEP and URP and that the government sending home a bunch of people and all kind of nonsense. Let me tell you all this, right? The reason why CPEP, URP, and URP and deforestation and all of that is being touched today is because there's a lot of ghosts that is happening. Now, a lot of persons would say that, well, it's poor people that's suffering at the end of it and stuff like that, and they wanted the government to handle it differently, and the government should have handled it differently, and they should not have sent home 400 plus, 1,000, 14, 20 something, I don't know. The government should not have sent home the amount of workers that they would have sent home, especially before the new school term reopens, right? But the timing of it is unfortunate, 100% unfortunate. However, the government cannot continue squandering taxpaying dollars the way that it was or it has been being squandered for decades. If we want to move forward and move away from the type of corruption that the country is going through, then one thing that we should look at doing Trinidad and Tobago is really cleaning up the corruption. And the way that Kamala cleaned up the corruption from the moment she came into office in 2025, April of 2025, what has been going on for the past 4 months, going on to 5 months, is what is needed for the country. No more rentals. That's government rentals. No more government rentals. No more luxury vehicles. I'm dying. But no more luxury vehicles. No more major expenditures from the country like WASA, Prime Minister pension, like a Prime Minister given 1 day appointment could have received or was entitled to receive $75,000 per month in pension. And then that would have also come with an increase because it was to match the current Prime Minister pension, whichever year you might be in for however long you live. That was nonsense. And that was passed to end that inside the parliament when Kamala came into power. One of the first things that she would have done. Property tax. When government wanted to tax you all, Kamala said no to property tax, and it's been dismantled. The Revenue Authority, all right? The Revenue Authority is being scrapped, and it's being merged, or it's not merged, but we have NIBTT for that, all right? And we have the divisions to do everything that we want to do in Trinidad and Tobago. However, PNM created a full channel of bureaucracy and corruption, where if we had the NIBTT, they went and created the Revenue Authority, and they would have put their own people across there to govern and to manage and to squander money. That's what was going on in the country. And Kamala is saying no to all of that. And that is what is happening today, Trinidad and Tobago. Today, the change in society that you see, the change that you're feeling, is because the government is weaning out that type of corruption and that level of corruption that was taking place. For 10 years, you sat in this country, you sat as a citizen, and you watched everything that happened. You watched Petrotrin shut down. You watched the Scrap Iron Association or the Foreign Use Dealership go through hell. You watch your citizens go through hell. You saw gas increase not once, not twice, but 3 consecutive times. And I think about 4 or 5 times gas increased. You watch the price of flour go up. You watch National Flour Mill increase the price of flour. You watch TCL and Rockhard compete, and Rockhard left Trinidad and is coming back today under Kamala, but left Trinidad and Tobago because of that level of corruption that was happening, that was plaguing the industry when it comes to construction. You watched all of these things happen under the PNM administration, and currently under the United National administration, everyone seems to, not even seems to be, because people go start to talk about CPEP and URP and act as though, unfortunately, grass cutting should not be a job. It should never be a job. If I take you all on a tour across the country and you see how much bush growing, you tend to believe that Trinidadians don't know what a waka is, and to clean up in front of their own property. You have private sector today that refuse to even clean in front of their own property and cut the grass in front of their own property and waiting on government to do that, yet trying to benefit off not paying taxes. They love tax exemptions. They love the tax exemptions, but they wouldn't even spend $500 a week to clean up in front of their very property. They won't do that. But anyway, Kamala Persad-Bissessor did say a lot is coming for the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, and she said, quote, that you are going to be surprised by the budget coming 2025-2026. Take a listen.
So we're very hard at work with our budget, and you'll be surprised. I think we'll have a very good budget. We will have a very good budget. Some new innovative things to diversify the economy.
Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessor says government has been working late into the night, reviewing plans and refining priorities for the upcoming 2025-26 budget presentation. Speaking to reporters on Tuesday evening, she confirmed that plans are apace.
So we went through last night with Minister Suraj Singh, the PSIP, development program. There are several things in there we added, we took out. So we're still working on that. With respect to recurrent expenditure, today I shared with ministers the first draft of the recurrent expenditure for them to look to see where they want to put the priority.
But one of the standout initiatives is a new push for sports tourism, which the Prime Minister said has the potential to bring international visitors to Trinidad and Tobago, not just for sun and sand, but for cricket on the beach.
Because Minister of Sports has a brilliant idea. I shared it with Minister of Planning last night, to put a line item there for sports tourism. And Minister of Sports has shared with me that there are persons interested in coming to Trinidad and Tobago to play cricket on the beach. So that in addition to enjoying the tropical climate and our beautiful island, sun and sand and sea, they could play cricket as well.
And Mrs. Persad-Bissessor said government is committed to creating employment opportunities.
My last watch, we created over 50,000 new jobs. My plan is to make sure in this budget coming that we do have some mechanisms for jobs. And of course, revenue generation. We also have some innovative projects for getting more revenue streams. That has been our problem. We have relied solely on the oil and gas. Of course, we will still take the goodness that God gave us out of the earth, oil and gas, but we must also have other streams of revenue. Apart from that, and we have many proposals that we are still finalizing.
So far, no date has been given for the budget presentation, but the Prime Minister had indicated that it would be in early October. Sonolala, TTT News.
All right. So, you know, and even so, the Prime Minister today is this one is a good one. Huh? This one is a real good one because the UNC is the only one that really speaks about constitutional reform. But the Prime Minister stated yesterday as well that she wants the state to she wants state institutions free from political interference. So the Prime Minister said yesterday that on the last occasion her government created 50,000 new jobs. Half of that went through with PNM. Right? Petrotrin, thousands went home. Caroni, Asamital, a bunch happened under PNM. But on the anniversary, on the 49th anniversary of Republic Day, Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar called on urgent reform to strengthen Trinidad and Tobago's democracy, noting that the foundations of the Republic remain flawed. She said, quote, since 1976, our Republican Constitution has concentrated executive powers in the office of the Prime Minister and weakened so-called independent institutions, which were often obtained by a president beholden to the ruling party, Persad-Bissessar said. Now, this is almost the same words that Basil Pandey, the former political leader and the creator of the United National Congress, would have stated. And I'll play the speech for you in just a short bit, just so you can hear the contrast between the two. But if Kamla Persad-Bissessar is serious about constitutional reform and is serious about giving the independent bodies more of an executive role to play in Trinidad and Tobago, I will dare call for the Police Complaints Authority to have the powers of prosecution. Important. If we're looking at being independent and moving away from this type of power-driven people that we have in Trinidad, where a president is just appointed by the ruling party and does what the ruling party say, and the whole fiasco with the Police Service Commission and the appointment of a commissioner of police. If we dare to move forward, we need to look at prosecuting powers for the Police Complaints Authority. Not only that, but police officers in Trinidad and Tobago need to be held accountable and not the state. Police officers there needs to be held accountable for all of their wrongdoings and not just the state. That's important, and that requires constitutional reform and laws that are passed inside of the parliament to better deal with and treat with these issues. It's very much simple with the police service. If you want to build back trust and the government wants to be seen as a government that is working for the people, then this is needed, much so needed. But not only that, but job creation should not just be that of the state. It cannot be that of the state. It is Kamla Persad-Bissessar, and it's under, you would have stated this, Kamla Persad-Bissessar, that what Trinidad and Tobago needs is private sector development in Trinidad and Tobago to allow for job creations and sustainability. No more can Trinidad and Tobago just rely on the state for prosperity. That's madness, because the moment the UNC leaves office, demits office, God forbid, at any given time, what's going to happen with Trinidad and Tobago? We are leaving job creation up to the state and giving persons the easy way out, right? Come to work and live off a government contract for the rest of your life. That is what was going on with URP and CPEP. That is what is being shut down today. And if that is what is being shut down, then government needs to be able to step in and assist the private sector in developing Trinidad and Tobago and looking at a more privatized economy where we could flourish a little bit more, because so far we under oil and gas and we dependent on oil and gas, and we're asking for diversification. And if we seek to diversify Trinidad and Tobago's economy and diversify Trinidad and Tobago's politics, then this is what is needed. But it's left to be seen. constitutional reform is needed. We need a better approach to governance, and we need not to just solely rely on the government of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago for everything. The one thing we could agree on that Keith Rowley said was to wean yourself off the government. But in Keith Rowley saying wean yourself off of the government, we saw where persons who are friends and families of the People's National Movement are the ones that got the big contracts. How can you tell me that Massey could open several chains across Trinidad and Tobago and buy out groceries? Even so that, remember TSTT and Massey Communications, they were allowed to buy everything in the country. Kamala was against it. We were against it. But that cannot happen. It should not happen. Friends and families of government officials should not be able to just get whatever they want in Trinidad and Tobago. And under Kamala Persad-Bissessar, it's not so, because Nazim Bash complained about Petrotrin. And we know why Petrotrin shut down. We know what was going on there with Petrotrin. We know why he hit reporters and went to court and all kind of nonsense. Right? We know what happened there. But what I'm saying is that in making the private sector the main drivers of economic growth in Trinidad and Tobago, it must not be done just simply through friends and families of either the UNC and or the PNM. That can't happen. It must be fair across the board. Development should not just be, I call Calco and tell Calco are doing this, or I call NIDCO and say NIDCO are doing this. It must be fair across all the boards, so every single construction site in Trinidad could tender a contract and get a contract for several different projects across the country. We have several schools that still need to be built. We have UE, we have St. Augustine, we have a lot of campuses across Trinidad and Tobago that was put down during the 2010 to 2015 administration in People's Partnership that still need building today and refurbishment today. I will hope that the people that will get the contracts are not just Calco, NIDCO, or the rest of them that consistently getting contracts across the country. And we have seen some of that Trinidad and Tobago with the dismantling of CPEP and the dismantling of the URP, because the contractors were the ones that were benefiting. Unfortunately, the people are at the next end of the stick. Very unfortunate. But Kamala Persad-Bissessar promised, and she said that she is an administration for the people and by the people, and we will only see that when the budget is read out. So if Kamala Persad-Bissessar is promising a good budget, then I'll hope to see a good budget. But also, if Kamala Persad-Bissessar is speaking about the state institutions must be free of political influence, and she moves on to say that, quote, Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar called for urgent reform and strengthening of Trinidad and Tobago's democracy, noting that the foundation of the republic remains flawed. I will only expect that, and in the next line, she actually spoke about the executive powers in the office of the Prime Minister and weaken so-called independent institutions. I would believe that the institutions that you're speaking about will be procurement, will be the police complaints authority, the police service commissions, and all of the service commissions that we have in Trinidad that do not have prosecution power. We need to give them prosecuting power. You, Kamala Persad-Bissessar, you spoke about giving them prosecuting powers. So I'd only hope during the period 2025 to 2030 that we see some major reform. Take a listen to Bazio Panda in just a short bit, but we'll be back right after this.
If your child doesn't understand what they read, SCA becomes 10 times harder. That's why Learn Smart TT has created an online comprehension and poetry course. This is completely self-paced with all tools accessed online. It's 30 passages, 30 poems. They can be downloaded or answered on our site. From there, students get access to answer sheets that have detailed options of how the answers could have been written. No other product on the market has this. In addition, they get access to a video tutorial with an expert teacher walking them through the passage of poems using high visuals and techniques to ensure they derive meaning. Also, we model how we derived each answer so they can do the same. If you want your child to enjoy all of these benefits and propel in comprehension, SCA, and general academic life, click the link above and register for this course and join hundreds of parents and students who are benefiting.
I am Crystal Bevenash, the only presidential choice for Tutor Election 2025.
It's time to come together, together we are tutor.
I'm an educator since 1993. 32 years in this noble profession, from OJT at Valencia to ATP at Pumaca, T1 at Malabar, head of department at Valencia South, principal at Barataria, and now SS1 at Northeastern Education District. I've served both tutor and Ministry of Education at all these different levels throughout my years. Let's talk accolades. I joined tutor shortly after becoming an assistant teacher. I served as a staff representative, as a zonal convener. I served as the district executive of St. George's Education District. I also served as the Conference of Delegates, which is the highest decision-making body in tutor. To me, tutor and the Ministry of Education go hand in hand. They both work to serve the nation's children to ensure that they receive the best quality education that is available. And tutor would have allowed me to develop into the individual that I am today. In addition to that, I would have served as a principal, as the principals at the NAPSPA, the National Primary School Principals Association. I also would have been the president of the Association of Principals of Catholic Schools, the principal involved in Sports Council, actually the chairman of the Sports Council of the St. George's Education District, and many more. All of these leadership roles would have been guided by what I would have learned, the principles and so on, in tutor, and all the leadership roles tutor would have allowed me to be part of and grow and develop myself. My leadership philosophy is rooted in servant leadership. I believe in leading by example, not position. I also believe in listening before speaking, and I always put persons before myself. If elected, I intend to lead with humility, empathy, and strength, because I have experienced the same things that you have experienced as a teacher, as a principal, and now as a school supervisor. Allow me to represent you as your president, Crystal Bevenash. I present myself to you as the next president of Tutor. I am you are me, we are Tutor.
October 14th, it's time for the Tutor Rebirth.
Welcome to SNS Facade Group of Companies, a dynamic community-driven group serving multiple industries with excellence and integrity. At SNS Facade Supermarket, we're committed to community, providing vessel export delivery, custom food services, local delivery, wholesale solutions, fresh produce, in-house bakery, and premium meats. Discover relaxation reimagined at Sunset Beach Resort, with beachfront stays and dining that blends local flavor with ocean views, perfect for families and couples. At Cuts and Curve Fitness Center, where health meets lifestyle, with personal training, meal plans, a full gym, and on-site cafe. The SNS Facade Group of Companies, building value, trust, and community across everything we do.
Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar wants state institutions free from political interference. On the 49th anniversary of Republic Day, Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar called for urgent reform to strengthen Trinidad and Tobago's democracy, noting that the foundation of the republic remains flawed. Mrs. Bissessar said, quote, since 1976, our Republican Constitution has concentrated executive power in the office of the Prime Minister and weakened so-called independent institutions, which were often appointed by the President beholden to the ruling party, Mrs. Persad-Bissessar said. She argued that these flaws have undermined checks and balances, limiting fairness and accountability in governance. Tracing past reform efforts, the Prime Minister highlighted that the UNC government's introduction of the Freedom of Information Act, the Judicial Review Act, and the Equal Opportunities Act between 1995 and 2000. Mrs. Bissessar also pointed to her administration's modernization of the Trinidad and Tobago Parliament during her first tenure, including the introduction of the Prime Minister's questions, proportional representation in local governance, and landmark procurement reform, which PNM slashed the teeth out of. Each initiative, she said, aimed to ensure democracy genuinely empowers all citizens. Mrs. Persad-Bissessar stated, quote, today, we must renew the independence of our state institutions to drive fairness, accountability, and progress, so that future generations inherit a republic defined by freedom and equal opportunity for all. Now, here's the thing. I can't lie. It sounds like a Bazio Pandey speech, which we'll get to. It sounds like it. But if Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar is speaking about political interference in Trinidad and Tobago's democracy, where power is just simply concentrated to the office of the Prime Minister, which is true, we saw where King Rowley was able to literally shut everything down in this country for COVID-19 and almost abuse the office of the Prime Minister and abuse his power. As far as I would say, I protest about it. I walk the streets about it. I have the right to say that. I have the right to feel that way. But it seems so, even with the political interference in the Police Service Commission, in the appointment of a commissioner of police, right? With the merit list, a Prime Minister was able to influence a president as to who to appoint as commissioner of police. He could have influenced, and he did influence, the firing of a commissioner of police. And it should not be that way. Not only that, but procurement. There's only one administration that went to the parliament to literally, quote unquote, slash the teeth out of procurement legislation to say government could spend money with government without a procurement regulator oversight or telling us how we should spend or why or looking at it. Basically, right? We saw that happen. We saw where government literally took up and made a decision to shut down a state entity like Petrotrin simply because they told you that it's not making money. Yet reports came out by independent, I'll say, auditors or persons that came to look at why Petrotrin, the issues with Petrotrin, and they told us, a committee told us that it didn't need shutting down, it just needed restructuring. So if it needed restructuring, the government restructuring was to shut it down and have a company emerge that almost do the same thing. But if it is Kamala Persad-Bissessar speaking about a reform for Trinidad and Tobago's constitution, then my mind goes back to this clip.
I think the president should be elected by the people on the basis of one man, one vote. And having elected the president on the basis of one man, one vote, the president must be entitled to choose his cabinet from the most intelligent people in the country, not necessarily those who have been elected. Because you see, an election does not necessarily throw up intelligent people. Often it throws up a man with a big mouth. I thought you all were going to say yes, one is speaking to me. but that's all right. So that if our country is to be run properly, we must use our best brains. How are we going to use our best brains unless a president elected by and responsible to the people, see the connection, has the power to nominate, select his cabinet. Having selected his cabinet, the president now formulates his policy for the year. But in order to implement that policy, he must go to the parliament for monies to implement it. But the parliament he's going to is not the present one we have. The parliament he's going to is a unicameral government. That has also been said here. We are too small a country to have a Senate. And in fact, the Senate was only introduced into the Constitution because we were following the British pattern. They had a House of Lords, so we must have a mini House of Lords. They serve no purpose, really. If the senators want to represent the people, let them be responsible to the people. To whom are they responsible right now? To the president? No. Those who are nominated by the PNM are responsible to the PNM. And those who are appointed by the PP government are responsible to the PP government. So already there is a duplication. The 9 others that are appointed by the president is responsible to nobody. So we do not need a bicameral government, we need a unicameral government. But a unicameral government of a different kind. A unicameral government that is made up of about 100 members. Already we have 74. So 100 members, but 100 members elected on the basis of proportional representation. Now I've heard a friend of mine across there talk about the complications of proportional representation. I suggest the simplest form of proportional representation, which is if we have an electorate of 800,000 persons and a parliament of 100, then any person getting 8,000 or more votes is entitled to a seat in the parliament. It's the simplest form of PR. We don't have to go through the second preference votes and all that sort of thing. What is going to be the result of this? What is going to happen? That kind of voting is going to break the historical pattern of racial voting that has plagued this country for decades. Come the next election, if the elections are held under the present Constitution, we shall repeat what we have been doing for 50 years. That is to say, one group will be in the opposition and the next racial group will be in the parliament and so on. But if we go on the basis of proportional representation, then people will elect members on the basis of their economic as opposed to their racial interests. The farmers will get together and say, we are going to put a member in parliament because whenever we elect anybody else, they don't represent us, but we are going to put farmers, a group of farmers are going to get together and they are going to put 4 or 5 farmers in the parliament. The taxi drivers, the business community, even the churches if they wish. Whoever, in a multicultural, highly plural society that we have, it is the only way in which there will be the broadest spectrum of people taking part in the political decision-making process, which is what we are saying over and over. We want the people to participate. But where are the people? Where are they? So that basically, and I want to confirm what somebody says. Just as your paper that you have submitted there has said, you talk about the social contract, the Hobbesian type social contract and so on. Well, I believe that the manifesto, the Constitution should provide that the manifesto constitutes a contract between the government and the people. Which means that the people will have an opportunity to take the government to court for damages for not implementing the manifesto. There are several other things I'd like to talk about. But I know I do not have the time. And you probably don't have the inclination to listen. Okay. I went to the opening and I heard it said that some people were talking about constitutional amendments. I want to emphasize that this is not about constitutional amendments. It is about constitutional reform. And constitutional reform is a completely different thing from constitutional amendments. For example, if you're going to change the structure of the parliament, I think chapter 3, chapter 4 will be totally irrelevant. It won't exist. You can't amend that. That has to be replaced. It has to be reformed. So I also agree with my brother here about local government. Local government being reformed. I was going to ask you whether we have local government elections after reform. But you didn't answer the first one. I don't expect you to answer the second one. So, Mr. Chairman.
So that type of conversation, we really don't have anymore in Trinidad. I mean, the government is definitely doing consultations and stuff like that, but that type of conversation, you ever had that since? No. Bazio Pandey, man. Bazio Pandey. God rest your soul, Bazio Pandey. I'll say truly a leader that had a vision. Whether you do anything about reform in the country is a different question. I wasn't around back then. I think I was, but I was young. Was I? Yeah, I think I was, but I was young. Probably. I think so. I can't remember. Anyway, but recall, yes, he spoke about a lot there, but recall act or the recall legislation is what is needed, you know. And the Progressive Empowerment Party was championing, through Philip Alexander, was championing for the recall legislation back in when they were the political party, I guess. But they were championing for the recall legislation or the recall act, whichever one you want to call it. So therefore you could, if your MP is not doing what they're supposed to do for your constituency, you'd be able to cast a vote to go back to the polls and vote for a new MP or have someone new. So if your MP is not doing what they say they were going to do on the campaign trail, as Bazio Pandey clearly stated a short while ago, you would be able to go and recall that MP by getting signatures, signing a petition, and having fresh elections in your constituency instead of having the whole country go up for elections. But that's one part of it, but constitutional reform, proportional representation, if Kamala Persad-Bissessar is speaking about these things, my mind goes back to the late Bazio Pandey on that. I don't know if we should include Makila Pandey though. She seems to be a PNM. But anyway, stay tuned. We'll be back right after this.
Wait. Have you heard the big surprise is near? Our SNS Passage supermarket is having our anniversary sale. And you want to know the best part of it? It is the same weekend as our Republic Day. So come on down, get double the buys, double the savings, and double the deals. But don't wait for the weekend to start celebrating. Come on down, our flash sale is going on right now in store. So grab your bargains today. Come on down, anniversary and Republic Day weekend for more savings.
Whether your child is topping the class or just keeping up, stronger comprehension skills gives them the edge. That's why Learn Smart TT has created an online comprehension and poetry course. This is completely self-paced with all tools accessed online. It's 30 passages, 30 poems. They can be downloaded or answered on our site. From there, students get access to answer sheets that have detailed options of how the answers could have been written. No other product on the market has this. In addition, they get access to a video tutorial with an expert teacher walking them through the passage or poems using high visuals and techniques to ensure they derive meaning. Also, we model how we derived each answer so they can do the same. If you want your child to enjoy all of these benefits and propel in comprehension, SCA, and general academic life, click the link above and register for this course and join hundreds of parents and students who are benefiting.
Jack Warner, boy. You know, I feel like Jack Warner, while he say he wants his, well, he finally gonna get his life back. Jack, I don't know if you're traveling to the US, you know. I don't know. Jack, I don't know if you're traveling to the US, you know, Jack, but congratulations, Jack Warner, because the US still wants him. The extradition charges would drop, or the case was dropped. I think it have one more that he's still before the courts with, I don't know, but let's take a listen to Jack Warner.
Given the judgment that was just handed down there.
I feel relieved, but I want you to understand that this took 10 years of my life. And I want to especially thank my legal team, led by Fayad Hussein, Senior Counsel, Sacha Bishbaran Singh, and all the other guys like Richie Das and so on who stood with me for 10 years. They had to face 15 lawyers from the state, 7 of whom were silk. And after 10 years, I am thrilled. I can't find adequate words. I am relieved by the fact that we were able to win this on this matter, and that the extradition has been permanently stayed. For me, it's a big event. It's a real letter day, and all I could say is I thank God, and I want to also thank my family for standing with me through these difficult times. But that's about all until I say much more later on.
I just want to find, do you think this was a political witch hunt?
They want to save the country. And they've been deprived of service for 10 years. I want to continue to save the country. And they want to resuscitate football.
Yeah. So do you think this was a political witch hunt against you?
It has to be. I can't see it any other way except being a political witch hunt. And this happened to me at a time when I was serving this country at one of the highest levels in Parliament. And you recall I was at one time Minister of Works and Transport, Minister of National Security. I was serving the country when this happened to me. So I consider it to be a witch hunt, political witch hunt. But more importantly, what happens after this? I want to say to you that I am prepared to serve the country once again. I want to be able to revive football in the country. I want to be able to...
Anywho, yeah, I'll cut it there. Anyway, but, you know, that clip gives me Yassini Abubakar vibes. You know, when Yassini was with his lawyers and they were talking about gangs, and he said, but PNM is the biggest gang, and the lawyers was like, hey, all right, all the way ending it there. That's the vibes from that clip. You wanna, Jack, we love you, Jack. Maybe we would see you back in sports, but... So there was a number 20, we're number 29.
You too, watch. Where are you from? Los Bravo. So are you coming down here to rob people for? Alright. You too, watch.
All right. So look at these people. Them look like criminals. The moment you see them on the streets, you should have just locked them up. You shouldn't even wait for them to charge to go and interfere with anybody. The moment you see them, you should have locked them up. Look how them looking. What you want to say? I'm telling you, you would see them walking on the streets in the night and be like, you walk next to them? I'm not walking next to them. I lock in my car door. I'm not dealing with that. I'm not dealing with them. These are young people that just come to distress poor people and law-abiding citizens. That's all them come to do. Just distress them. Look at your face. You look like you're from Ghana. You should send he to pick yam, Rowley. They should send he across Ghana to pick yam. That's what them good for. All them good for. I say, come back to me. I have a good job for them. I say, Kamala Persad-Bissessar, you should put them on the fence to fight Venezuela. Because if they want to shoot somebody, we'll be back after this. Take a break.
We need stronger advocacy for our members.
Enough talk. We have to go to court.
Focus on the mental and the physical health. Every day is RIP.
Everyone's voice needs to be heard. Communication is a two-way process.
We need to be financially viable. The members must know that their dues are benefiting them.
Team, we can do this. It's time. We can accomplish all of this.
October 14th, it's time for the Tutor Rebirth. It's time to come together, together we are Tutor. It's time to start over, together we are Tutor. Come on, you need a team strong and unified, who understand the teacher's plight. Deserve better, we say. Upgrades, insurance, and just pay. Come October 14th, vote and vote. You must vote the rebirth team. It's time to come together. Together we are Tutor. It's time to start over. Together we are Tutor. Think about your experience. Does it mix? Are you fed up with nonsense? Bring your friends and your colleagues. Cast your vote for the rebirth. Everybody, come on! It's time to come together. Together we are Tutor. Don't sit down. It's time. Make your vote. Time to start over. Together we are Tutor. With Crystal is clear to see, a man of integrity. Dwaraka, back on spot, he's giving it all he's got. Say Nigel Figaro, and watch your problems go. To fulfill the member plan, if anyone say I can. Dylan has the key to financial transparency. Communication, creativity, vote Miguel and Simon, that's me. It's time to vote, time to come together.
What if we told you that one course could boost your child's performance in every SCA paper? That's why Learn Smart TT has created an online comprehension and poetry course. This is completely self-paced with all tools accessed online. It's 30 passages, 30 poems. They can be downloaded or answered on our site. From there, students get access to answer sheets that have detailed options of how the answers could have been written. No other product on the market has this. In addition, they get access to a video tutorial with an expert teacher walking them through the passage or poems using high visuals and techniques to ensure they derive meaning. Also, we model how we derived each answer so they can do the same. If you want your child to enjoy all of these benefits and propel in comprehension, SCA, and general academic life, click the link above and register for this course and join hundreds of parents and students who are benefiting.
Wait. Have you heard the big surprise is near? Our SNS Bazaar supermarket is having our anniversary sale. And you want to know the best part of it? It is the same weekend as our Republic Day. So come on down, get double the vibes, double the savings, and double the deals. But don't wait for the weekend to start celebrating. Come on down, our flash sale is going on right now in store. So grab your bargains today. Come on down, anniversary and Republic Day weekend for more savings.
Congratulations to Julian John on becoming the acting Prime Minister for Trinidad and Tobago while Kamala Persad-Bissessar is out of the country. Kamala Persad-Bissessar would have appointed or placed Julian John as the acting Prime Minister for the few days that she'll be out of the country. This here is what Kamala Persad-Bissessar said. Take a listen.
And your decision for acting Prime Minister, what would have weighed in your deliberations in terms of making the choice, given the cabinet that you have?
Well, Ria might understand. She's a sister, and she's a very hard-working, diligent person. I think not just the cabinet, but the nation has great respect for Mr. John, and she'll do a great job. So I have no problems about it, no doubts or anything. The one thing I told her is don't do anything I wouldn't do.
Congratulations to Julian John. Following that, the Prime Minister would have responded to questions from the media about Minister Alexander, Philip Edward Alexander, on his recent comments about Venezuela, which I said I condemn. I'm not in support of the comments, neither is Kamala Persad-Bissessar or the administration. Philip Alexander, day after, posted this to his Facebook page, saying, quote, "Big men take their mistakes or missteps, as learning opportunities. Ego is for kids. I support Kamala Persad-Bissessar 100%. This is following his statements once again. Kamala Persad-Bissessar would have stated that neither her or her government supports the comments or is, guided by the comments at all. And she condemns the comments and pull the government away from the comment that India will nuke Venezuela. So, yeah, that's that. But anyway, outside of that, Trinidad and Tobago, I think that should be it for everything that we needed to cover tonight, I believe. Let me see. Yeah, now that's it. That is it for everything tonight, Trinidad and Tobago. I will see you back here on Saturday. On Saturday, we'll go over some of the ills that happened this week as well in the country. And we'll go over the Republic Day celebrations on Saturday. A lot of awards today down at the No, not Diplomatic Center. Queen's Hall. A lot of awards down there at Queen's Hall given out. The Shakonia Medal and some of the highest medals that Trinidad could offer is being given out there at Queen's Hall. All government officials, I don't know if they're still there, but I know they went down there earlier today. So we will cover that on Saturday when we return. Thank you so much for joining tonight. Remember, October 14th, 2025, tutor elections. Crystal Bevan Ash, vote for the Rebirth team. So wherever you see the Rebirth signal, go and vote for that. Trinidad and Tobago, Crystal Bevan Ash, and all the other candidates, the treasurer, the first vice president, second vice president, and third vice president, all on your slate for Tutor Rebirth, October 14th, 2025. And Independence Republic Day sale is still on at SNS Prasad Supermarket. You can get plenty, literally for 20 or for your money, down here at SNS Prasad Supermarket, Rio Claro, Mayaro, and Point Fortin. Thank you so much for joining tonight, Trinidad and Tobago. We'll talk more on Saturday, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. here with Week in Review, streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. Enjoy the rest of your night. Happy Republic Day. Happy 49th Republic Day to the people of Trinidad and Tobago from all of us here at Week in Review. Have a great night.